Dear Chairman Brandon Holden, in person here, and I watched to greet Chairman John McHugh on the screen, distinguished members of the rapporteurs of the committee. I wish to greet very warmly my colleagues, Larissa, who is just sitting next to me. I wish to greet Anna Sochanska, the Polish ambassador, the Romanian ambassador, Lorenzo Stefan, who is not here for now, and of course Larissa Girasco, who has a very long testimony. It was over 2 hours, but very interesting. So first of all, let me thank you all for this opportunity to brief you on the challenges that Georgia has, the ongoing Russian occupation, and to share the progress Georgia achieves towards the first European Union integration. As I appreciate the growing interest the committee members might have, particularly after Georgia has officially submitted an application to join the European Union family. The current severe political circumstances oblige me to emphasize the vocal and strong support of the Georgian government and the people of Georgia towards brave Ukrainian people and their respectful leadership. We stand together with our Ukrainian friends as they fight for freedom, for independence, for the European future. We support Ukraine as much as we can at all international arenas of our competence, United Nations, OSCE, ICC. We contribute multi-million worth, 1,000 tons of humanitarian aid, provide shelter and assistance for those Ukrainians who were stranded in Georgia or fled the war scenes. It's obvious that the world must resist, and is doing so, to the brutal Russian regime aiming to invade and enslave neighbors through massacring, mass destructions, and devastations. We all pray and hope that the wisdom of peace, constructive dialogue will succeed, and the end of this nightmare finally arrives. The European Union and the international community should make Russia accountable for breaching the international law, as in the modern world, the rule of law must govern and the justice must prevail. However, every end has a beginning. The Russian aggression against the neighbors, the European values, and the world order started from Georgia, first in early 90s, and then leading to 2008 August Russia-Georgian war, when Russia conducted a large-scale military aggression against sovereign Georgia on land, at sea, by air, and via cyberspace. Russia has occupied both Abkhazia and Tkhinvali regions of Georgia, has created illegal proxy regimes in both of the regions, thus keeping 20% of the overall territory under the Russian occupation. And as the judgment of the European Court of Human Rights states, this has established effective control over the occupied regions. Throughout the 30 years of Russia-Georgia conflict, from 1991, the Georgian people have undergone exactly through the same suffering and pain of mass murder, torture, rape, and pillage, of atrocities and brutality doable by the Russian army, as nowadays we all and the whole world is shockingly watching breaking news on TV with horror and fear. As a result of 3 massive waves of ethnic cleansing that the Russian Federation is responsible for, 500,000 of IDPs or refugees who have been expelled from their lands in Abkhazia and Tkhinvali region of Georgia are still dreaming to return back to their true homes. Sadly, the times when the Berlin Wall divided Europe is not over. The barbed wire fences along the occupation line in Abkhazia and Tkhinvali regions of Georgia is dividing families, restricting the locals from seeing each other, keeping the farmers apart from their farming lands, and relatives departed from their beloved ones. Gradually, Russian occupational forces move the occupation line deeper into the country, capturing more land and bringing more tragedy for the local population. Those who have not escaped the atrocities and have remained in Tkhinvali and Abkhazia regions are constant subject to massive human rights violations and enforced to take the Russian passports. Nowadays, as the aggression against Ukraine continues, Georgia remains the same target for another conventional or hybrid threats by Russia, who has illegally established 2 military bases in the occupied territories of Abkhazia and Tskhinvali. They permanently provoke the local population living beyond and along the occupation line with life-frightening, kidnapping, torture, and murder. These threats against Georgia is real, alarming, and consequential. It's crucially important to call for our international partners to keep Georgia, along with Ukraine, and to make Russia withdraw the occupational troops from the Georgian indigenous territories. Georgia appreciates the support and contribution of the European Union and its member states to the process of peaceful resolution of the Russia-Georgian conflict through the EU mediation of the 12th August 2008 ceasefire agreement, as well as launching the EU monitoring mission, where 7 Irish observers are serving on the ground. Equally, we're grateful to Ireland for supporting the EU's non-recognition and engagement policy. Despite these efforts, unfortunately, the response of the European Union and the world against the Russian aggression of 2008 war against Georgia and attempt to change the established borders in Europe was not strong and decisive enough to defend the principles of the international rules-based order, to make Russia respect sovereignty and territorial integrity of a European state, and to bring Russia accountable for the aggression against its small neighbor. Russia's aggression against sovereign neighbor with the main intention to keep Georgia under its direct political influence and domination aims to undermine economy, compromise democracy, shake statehood with the consequences to end our sovereignty and to derail Georgia from European Union and NATO integration. As Russia considers sovereign, free, European, and democratic Georgia is the threat to its own regime. We have withstood the occupation, provocation, hostility, hybrid measures, disinformation, and other coercive tools from Russia, which continues nowadays. We have made all the efforts within our power to progress with our European and Euro-Atlantic integration, and at the same time to pursue the policy of peaceful resolution of Russia-Georgia conflict. A few years ago, Georgia, Moldova, and Ukraine, as associated EU countries, have set up an association trio with the purpose to work for our integration into the European Union. We took this step together as our 3 countries have the same European aspirations, have the same goal of becoming members of the European Union, and possess the same tools, signed associated agreements, including the DCFTA with the EU, to achieve these goals. Georgia was considering submitting the application by 2024, but the rapidly changing new reality has opened a momentum for all of us to submit our official applications for the EU membership now. EU membership application is a concrete response to the long-standing choice of the Georgian people. It unites the whole population, brings all political parties under one goal to support further Georgia's EU integration, as the last polls show that 86% vote for EU membership. On top of this, a prospect of a free, democratic European state on the path towards EU membership will prove a powerful attraction for our people living in the occupied territories, and eventually will serve as the most effective tool to achieve reconciliation in a unified Georgia. We welcome the decision by the Council of European Union, followed by the statement of the heads of states and governments of the EU member states in Warsaw, to invite the European Commission to submit its opinion on the applications of Ukraine as well as Georgia and Moldova. We fully understand the main purpose of the meeting to show united stance and solidarity of the EU towards Ukraine and its people in these most horrible times for them. But at the same time, it's critical that decisions taken on Georgia and Moldova are synchronized with those regarding Ukraine, and the trio is not split apart by reacting differently on the application's accession process. Otherwise, leaving us or any of the trio countries behind in this process will be understood as a negative answer of the EU and bear a devastating effect on our society, while giving a green light to Russia for unpredictable, destructive actions, and will definitely close this once-in-a-lifetime momentum for the membership. In the meantime, we continue implementation of the association agreement of DCFTA, approximately 40% of which we have already fulfilled. First, the consolidation of democracy, strengthening the rule of law and good governance, as well as human rights, remains on top of our European agenda. After signing the EU-Georgia Association Agreement in 2014, we have advanced political and economic integration with the EU. 2 working groups were created under the State EU Integration Committee to ensure regular follow-up on the implementation of the Association Agreement and the DCFTA. Since 2017, visa liberalization has allowed Georgian citizens to benefit from visa-free travel to the EU Schengen states, whereas more than 600,000 Georgian citizens enjoyed visa-free travel since then. With the aim of approximating national legislation with the EU and align institutional framework closer to the EU standards, Georgia has successfully transposed a big part of the EU legislative acts and has established new various regulatory institutions. Almost 56% of legislative acts have been transposed into the Georgian legislation. As an example, only in sanitary and phytosanitary area, the Georgian legislation has been amended with 149 EU legal acts. The export of national products from Georgia to the EU markets has increased by 15%, and the EU has become Georgia's main trade partner, with more than 850 Georgian companies exporting their products to the EU markets. The cooperation with the EU in the energy sector led to Georgia's accession into the European Energy Community Treaty in 2016. Georgia is actively cooperating with the European agencies like Frontex, Europol, Eurojust. Georgia is part of EU framework programs like Horizon Europe, Creative Europe, and Erasmus+, where Georgia is ranked 6th by its activity among 141 partner countries. Joining the single market, single euro payment area, single telecommunication space, incorporated into educational domains, transportation networks are part of our European agenda. Georgia possesses huge potential of green hydropower generation. We're studying closely to the project to construct a novel Black Sea underwater electricity transmission line to supply the EU with the so needed green energy. In the world of digitalization, the internet cables stretching along the seabed are among top priorities, as currently the Black Sea has turned up as a sea of connectivity. We call the EU to further shape cooperation with Georgia as with the candidate country. Being defined as a candidate country will be a sign of a big support to Georgia's democracy and will certainly further consolidate Georgia's democratic and economic reforms. The time has come when the European Union should demonstrate its own values of liberty, equality, and fraternity to support our countries who have decades-long history of struggle for the European values, for freedom and democracy. On the bilateral level, the increasing relations require reciprocating by the Irish government to open the Irish embassy in Tbilisi. That will definitely contribute to the Irish global footprint policy. Also will benefit Ireland as a non-permanent member of the United Nations Security Council and will open new horizons for Irish businesses, and combined will contribute to our bilateral friendly relations. Georgia is ranked 6th by the World Bank as an ease of doing business. We also hope that Ireland will join the EU Schengen states' decision to open borders and will provide visa-free access to the Georgians. That will contribute to our people-to-people relations, as people are the main asset that any nation has. We are immensely grateful to the Irish government and the Oireachtas, as the Irish people, for the unwavering support to our sovereignty and territorial integrity, and for advocating our European Union further integration. At the very end of my remarks, I wish, Mr. Chairman, to invite you personally and Chairman Joe as well, to invite you both personally and the senators to visit Georgia and get better introduction on Georgia's profound aspirations towards the EU membership and the huge progress achieved. You will exchange the views with the government officials on the future of Europe, in particular with Georgia, to get comprehensive understanding how we can contribute to the safety and security of Europe. You will be able to meet the Irish observers from the EU mission and to visit the occupation line where you will witness the devastating impact of the Russian occupation. Furthermore, you will meet the ordinary Georgians to look in their eyes, to introspect into their souls, to witness how strongly we Georgians are Europeans, how crucial it is for us and for the future of Europe to accept the European Union membership.